Hi everyone, it's Bonita from Pennies to Dollars. And today I thought we would talk some more about Swedish death cleaning and what do we do if we don't think we're going to be able to finish. It feels like that some days, doesn't it? We've accumulated so much over the years and we have maybe lived in the same spot for maybe 20, 30, 40 years. And now we have all of this stuff and we have a very short amount of time to try to go through it while we're still physically able to do that. And maybe you've had an injury like me, and maybe it's very difficult to only work short spurts of time to start working through things. But it does feel like some days, what are we going to do if we don't finish? We don't want to leave this for our kids. We don't want to leave this for the people to come after us to have to clean up. And more importantly, we don't want the ambulance to come pick us up with all this stuff everywhere. And I know this sounds morbid, but these are the things that go through my head sometimes because I'm going on 3 years of trying to declutter a place that I have lived for most of my life. And I have several storage buildings on my property that have ended up accumulating things that should have never been saved to begin with. And I wish I knew then what I know now. But you're so scared sometimes of what if I need it? What if I can use it for something else? What if using it and keeping it will save me money down the line? And so we have multitudes of reasons why we end up saving things. But what do we do if we don't finish? What do we do? Do we want to spend the rest of our days going through this stuff? I certainly don't. Do we want to spend all of our free time going through stuff? It ends up taking up a lot of our free time to go through the stuff that we shouldn't have saved to begin with. And I think that's where the minimalists come from nowadays, is they have realized this. They have realized that stuff steals our time. Stuff steals our money. Stuff steals the length of time we have to work in this world. And so they have figured out that by not accumulating this stuff to begin with, and not buying this stuff to begin with, that they can retire earlier, that they can travel easier, and that they can have more free time. And isn't that what we all really want anyway, is more free time? I know that I do. And I think about the 3 years that it has stolen from me, of me keeping the stuff that I should have never kept, and all the free time that I have spent now going through stuff. And then I start to worry, am I ever going to finish? Is there an end in sight? The first thing that you do is get rid of all of the trash. And you would be shocked how many things that you now can see through the clouds that this is trash. Maybe when you saved it, you didn't think that it was, but now you can see that it's trash. And a lot of people will go through things like a once over and then go through things another time and another time. And it's funny because each time that you go through things, more things appear to you to be trash or things that you don't want to keep. Or maybe at one point in your life, they were things you wanted to keep. In that season of your life, they were important things to you. But now that you look at them, at our age, you're like, what am I ever going to do with this, and why did I save it to begin with? So it becomes easier and easier to let go of things as you go through this process and see the magnitude of stuff that you actually need to clear. You also need to get rid of anything that you're storing for other people that is not something they are coming back for. I have been very kind over the years and stored things for people. I've stored things for my brother. I've stored things for my kids. And then later, they're not coming back for it. They don't plan to come back for it. It's like they wanted you to keep it indefinitely. And so you can't do that. You can't keep things indefinitely. This is how people end up with storage units that they're paying on all the time, is because they have this stuff. They don't want to let it go. And so it steals their money by paying to store things that they don't even remember what's in that storage unit. And it's kind of that way when you're storing things for other people. They don't really remember what they stored there. They don't have any place to put it. They're not planning to come back to get it. So to me, those are things that you need to clear first. There's some things and layers that you need to clear so that you can see what's really left, so you can start making decisions. But there's so much at the top that doesn't even need really any decisions. They're easy decisions. And I think that's what holds people up so much. I work for the Department of Aging, and I assess people all the time. And I constantly am being told, I have too much stuff. I have stuff I need to get rid of. I need someone to help me get rid of this stuff, move this stuff, sort this stuff, and they've waited too long. They've waited too long, and they have nobody to help them or no one that wants to help them, and they're surrounded by the stuff and they're not physically able to do it anymore. And so it's important to tackle this before you get to that point, because you don't want to be in the place of, what if I don't get done? What if I don't have time to go through the rest of this? So at some point, you have to turn from the mentality of, I'm trying to save stuff, to I'm just trying to salvage stuff. I'm just trying to salvage what's important to me and get rid of the rest. You start out a lot of times at this sorting stage where, maybe I'll need it, maybe I won't, maybe somebody else can use this is still good. But then you get to a point, and I think I am there, guys, where you are like, I'm just going to salvage what is important to me, and I'm going to get rid of everything else because this is just taking too long. And I don't want it to steal any more of my life trying to declutter. And so that's where I'm at, guys. And it gets hard to keep going. It really does. It gets hard to stay motivated. And I have a video on declutter fatigue where you just get stuck sometimes. So if you haven't listened to that, I encourage you to listen to that video, Declutter Fatigue. But it does get hard to keep going. But you have to remember how far you've come. And I have to remind myself of this. I have to pat myself on the back and remind myself that I've come so far. I have thrown so much away. I have sold so much. I have given things away. I have found things that I'm using now, or things that I didn't know that I had that I'm using now, that were things that I was repurchasing. And so I have been able to see a lot of benefit in what I'm doing. And I have to remind myself of that as I'm going forward. And am I going to get done? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get done. I want to get done, but none of us can see the future. None of us know what the future holds. None of us know if we're going to have an injury or if we're going to have a back problem and if we're going to be able to finish. But you do have to have a work-life balance in this situation. You have to find times to relax, to pat yourself on the back, to see how far you've came, to take some days off from that whole process. The idea of just going in, getting done, and getting out doesn't really happen. Not unless you hire someone to help you and then they're making the decisions for you, and that becomes difficult as well. So you have to take breaks because you will get declutter fatigue through this whole process. And take advantage of cleanup days. If you live in a city that has cleanup days, find out when those are and declutter things on those cleanup days that are things that you would maybe have to pay to have hauled off. Things that you can set by the curb and that they'll take, or that you can haul to the dump on those days and that you can get rid of, so that you can see some big progress on those days and feel like you've really accomplished something. Sometimes we get some really large items that just need to go and they're taking up a lot of space. And if we can take advantage of those days to get those large items out of there and free up that big space, we really will feel like we are accomplishing something and that we're moving forward. And the whole point in this is to keep moving forward, keep making yourself see that you are moving forward. I know a lot of people like to take before and after pictures. I personally do not want to see what it looked like before I can remember. But you've got to keep reminding yourself of how far you have came. And then don't replace the stuff. Don't replace it. You have certain things that you need, and you have certain things that you've just had too much of, or excess of things that you didn't need. So go through your things as you're decluttering, and if you find that you really need something, then you can replace that. But overall, replace such a small amount. Don't replace it if you can get by using anything else instead. Anything else. If you have a blender and you have a food processor, you know, don't replace things that maybe something can do something else in its place. Because what we really want in the end of the Swedish death cleaning, what we really want is that our important things don't get overlooked in the clutter. Isn't that what we all want? Don't we all have this fear that something's going to happen to us, our kids are going to come in, and they are not going to know what's important, and they're going to see all this stuff, and they're just going to start clearing it. And the stuff that's really important, that really means something, that maybe has history to it, that you wanted them to know about or you wanted them to have, gets overlooked and it gets tossed. And then all of those memories are just gone and they never knew about it. I think a lot of us have that fear as we get older and we realize that we have too much stuff. I know that I did. So we don't want to leave this mess for our kids. We have to stay focused, but we also have to have that work-life balance when it comes to decluttering. I hope that this has helped you today. I know that these videos are therapeutic for me and encouraging for me, because I encourage myself by doing these, by staying on track and seeing the process and understanding the process better by actually doing it. And I try to share that with you. So I hope that you've enjoyed this today, and please follow me for more videos, and thank you for watching.